This is Kulali and her owner Garth. Garth was a successful engineer who started building Kulali as his final life project. Unfortunately, Garth never got to see her finished. I've been lucky enough to take the challenge on of completing her build and one day to sail her around the world. Similar to Garth, I'm a passionate engineer who loves to know how things work and how to build things. Join me on this journey to bring Garth's dream to life. This is Sailing Kulali. And we're off. Solo trip for the first time to Rottnest. Alright, we just left the heads. We've got Simon just there on Halcyon, Nirvana behind that. So because I'm solo on the boat today, I've got to still make sure that everything's very, very risk averse. So I'm going to tie a line onto the mast. If I do any work up the front, I will tie myself to the line. So if I fall in, I'm still connected to the boat. Because you can imagine if I fell off the boat would keep going and I would be alone. Hey little bird. Hey little bird. It's little bird's house. So we are out here now, sailing just under the jib. It's there. And there's not much wind at the moment, as you can see. There's Simon back there with his main up, and Jacob back there. We expect to take around, I reckon it's going to take 4 hours to get there. Because we're currently doing 2.3 knots, 1.1 knots, which means it's going to take 10 hours to get there, because it's 10 nautical miles if you go at 1 knot, but the wind will pick up. So you can see this fat layer of wind coming now, which is very welcomed. So you'll see Simon pick up because the wind, that big thick thing, it's all wind, and the shiny stuff is not wind. Watch, watch. It's gonna get windy. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See? Yeah. Nice. So we're going over to Rottnest Island, which is all the way over there. Yeah. So far, so good. I'm gonna go have a pie. Yes. Not sponsored by these guys yet. Alright, we're about a third of the way there. Motor sailing. I've got the Sir Francis Drake going, and we're pointing north of Rottnest Island because the wind will be swinging to the southwest. It's been pretty good. The guys are fishing pretty safe with 3 boats around and not much wind. Probably going to put the mainsail up now just as a redundancy. lifeline, so I'll just keep that ready to rock and roll. The swell has picked up out here a little bit, but the water's turned really blue. You just can't complain, can you? Go. Nice. So we got Nirvana over there with Jake and Asher, and over there we have a new debut. We have Soph on board and Simon on Halcyon, and on Breeze we have me, my GoPro, and Sir Francis Drake. After about an hour or 20 of motoring, the tank is, I'd say that's a quarter full. So I reckon this thing can do 2 hours constant running. Look how blue the water is. God. So I don't know if you can see how blue that water is. Can you see it through there? Yeah, through the polarized. It is so blue. So far, it's been a really good sail. Everything's gone really well so far. The only thing that was actually a bit sketchy was I brought this fuel tank in addition to 10 more litres. And what happened was I started smelling some fuel probably about 30 minutes into the sail. I checked all the fuel tanks and I found this one, which was in the back there, had started leaking out of there quite substantially. I think because the breather was closed and started heating up, and so that started forcing fuel out of here somehow. Now that's all fine, but what then happened was this radio was flat. There was no battery, and so then I plugged in the charger into the lighter socket from up here, and I plugged it in and I heard a pop, like a crack, and but I didn't think of anything of it. And then about 2 minutes later I started smelling plastic burning, and I noticed that the charging plug had basically short-circuited and yeah, melted some of the plastic. So it's interesting how easy it is for something to go wrong on a boat. Yeah, so I'm always pretty concerned about fuel on the boat. I need to come out, I was hoping to come up with some way to store it separately. But yeah, so yeah, luckily I vented the interior and made sure that the smell all disappeared, and that no other fuel's leaking. So I didn't finish showing you the features of Breeze, or the tour of Breeze yesterday. So we were in the cockpit last night outside. Cockpit? Yeah, cockpit. And this is the cabin of Breeze. So the companionway is here, similar to Kulali. And you come in and basically you've got two berths here, a V berth up the front, which is very small, and then two coffin berths back there. So then you have an instrument panel there for all your electrics, solar charger, a table clips in here, the table's stowed there, and then auxiliary primary engine also sits in there when you're sailing, and then under there's some storage underneath there as well. And yeah, electricals sit in there. And then these are really useful. These are just basically cubby holes that you can chuck things in, and that's been 3D printed. So I 3D scanned it and then 3D printed that. That was one of my first projects. And this thing here is the instrument panel holder, and that was 3D printed as well. And it says, do what is right, not what is easy. All right, there's the island, Rottnest Island. So we are pretty much there. That's Phillip Rock over there, which is normally the way that you enter into Rottnest Island if you want to go into Thompson Bay, which is the main settlement area. But we're going to go around to a bay called Longreach. The reason being it's usually more protected from the southwesters, and also it has some good anchoring ground, which is basically just sandy ground. Behind us we have Nirvana doing really well under sail. We're averaging sort of 5 knots, and behind her is Halcyon. So yeah, relatively smooth so far. The hardest bit, like landing an aeroplane, will be to berth this boat, to anchor it or put it on a mooring. Dropping the sails, things like that by yourself might be a bit more difficult. But yeah, cool. All right, they're about to do the final tack into Longreach. Here we go. He's gonna tack, and then I'll tack. He's gonna tack, and then I'll tack, and then we're into Longreach. There we go. That was the tack. And you can see both of us, all three of us are on this tack now, into Longreach, the transit line in. And yeah, so far pretty good. Relatively smooth. The weather was pretty bloody good today though. You don't want to touch the shore, Asher? Huh? He heard us. Hey, can they hear? So that was a successful sail over the Rottnest solo. We're just about to go have some dinner. Beautiful time here. What a successful trip, and so tomorrow's sail back. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. So not too bad. Pretty rough conditions though. Oh
my god. I'm having a bugger. The condition's pretty rowdy, 20 knots. We're surfing some sick waves right now. Look at this.